Hey, welcome to the table. Let's get ready to begin. And I'm going to try to move my camera just a slight bit here. There we go. All right, sorry about that. So, I know it looks a little crooked, but it's just the angle. Okay, so welcome to the table. A couple questions come in, couple clarifying comments. The first one is when it just says transit, it means enemy transit. Somebody verified that for me, and they pointed out that the Sherman leader wording is slightly different than the German wording. I'm not sure that fully explains the discrepancy, but they clearly said that if it just says transit, it means enemy transit. To answer the question, there's only 2 trucks and 2 scouts, of which I bought all of them. So that cost 2, 4, 5, 6 SO points, and I considered that to be cheap. The scouts will, of course, let me go deeper in the enemy lines, and it'll save me 2 SO points every time it does. That by itself, I'm not the scout, but the truck, that will pay for itself, and then the scout just giving me 1 extra turn also pays for itself. But not necessarily in SO points, just in terms of being able to win. Now, a couple of things else. Somebody said, like, can you recommend a starting lineup? Well, it's going to depend on the year. And so with the intro scenario, I promised that this would be the playthrough video, so I don't want to get too deep into this. But in the intro scenario, you're only looking at 1939 units. And so when you're looking at your units here, uh-oh. Yep, right there. I lost my camera. So give me a second. I don't know why my camera's been failing, like it's disconnecting. So forgive me for that. This may be an ongoing issue here that I don't fully have an explanation for. So let's maybe that'll help. Okay, so back to this. See how that Panzer III says 1942 to 1945? If you're looking at only 1939, the number of equipment that you can use is drastically reduced. For example, you pretty much can only use like a Panzer II, and then there's a Stug, which, by the way, the Stug is pretty awesome, so you may want to consider getting one of those if you're in 1939. You're very limited, and then you can just get some infantry, which are just 3, or these MG nests that I got for 3. I just highly recommend that that's what you do. If you have 10 points to spare, definitely consider getting an artillery, because I think you're going to find that the artillery is going to really be helpful. And then, like I said, make sure you pick, at least get a medic, and you don't need a mechanic. You don't need one, but I recommend one. And then for your artillery, you definitely want the spotter and marksman. That spotter capability is crucial. So that's the best way I can recommend it. The other thing to say is just don't be afraid to dive in and lose. That's the other thing too. Losing is a part of learning, and if you dive in and you lose, you're like, okay, that didn't work. There's no way I'm buying that unit again. It's just, that's sort of how you get your experience in terms of like what you're going to do. All right, so let me get that out of the way, and let's get started. So what we did so far is the campaign setup, which is these items. And then at the start of the week, the first thing you do is you draw a special condition card, and we assign units. Now, this is going to be painful because there's a whole bunch of battalions in the game, all right? And all these battalions have special abilities and things attached to them. It could be, it can take you a long time to go through these. So like a couple of them I want to point out. For example, this one. So Battalion 7S here. And by the way, speaking of which, if you'll notice, the battalions are mostly from the expansion pack. there's actually only 4 battalions I drew that were from the base game. I thought that was pretty interesting. And based on comments from earlier, I should also point out that the new graphics is more styled after the Sherman leader graphics. So anyways, back to this. As you can see there, you cannot attack battalions in the enemy breakthrough. Now, the good news for us is there's only 1 battalion in back here. And he's not a super threat to us, but he is super juicy. And let me show you that guy. Like I said, not a threat, but very, very juicy. When you destroy him, you get 6 SO points when you destroy this battalion. That's almost like a day's worth of SO points. So that is going to be fun when we finally can. Now, I got to warn you, we have 2 battalions that are preventing us from going back there. So I have to destroy 2 support battalions before I can even have access to that rear row. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Now, another thing that can be confusing is, for example, this. Enemy MG and mortars gain +2 on attack rolls. Now, that could mean... Oh, there went my camera again. All right, testing, testing. Okay. So there's 2 ways you can interpret this, right? It could mean that that's for all battalions. So that would mean that this is an awful one and we need to get rid of him right away. But if you look at this particular one, he has MG and mortar units within himself. And all this is this is a rule for when I attack that particular battalion, that special rule exists for that battalion and only that battalion. Okay? So don't let yourself get all worked up or confused over that. So these are, I mean, it's a negative thing, but it's not like, oh my gosh, we need to prioritize that over anything else. So what do we need to prioritize? Well, first thing, I have 1 unit that's sitting here in the friendly transit zone that's going to give us -2 SO points if it stays there. Or it could potentially progress forward and give us -6. So that's a problem child. So we could probably go after that. The next one I want to show you is this guy. It's a fixed battalion. If you destroy this battalion, do not roll for battalion movement this week. That means that all the battalions stay frozen. Nobody advances or retreats. That's a very interesting one. Gives you extra experience points as well. But what I did was I flagged 4 for this week that I think we need to prioritize. And I don't know if I can take on all 4, because remember, I sort of made my commanders so we could do 2 at a time. But I have a feeling that if they're small enough, maybe I can do 3. Because there's no requirement that I have to send my whole lineup. You know, I have a team A and team B. I could make it a team A1 and a team A2 if I really wanted to. But anyways, this is the first one. Discard 1 tactic or command tactic at the start of all battles. So all battles means every battalion. So I would lose a tactic or command tactic every time at the start of the battle until I can take that one out. And there should be 2 of these. Yep, there is. There's another one that does the same thing. So now I'm going to lose 2 tactics or command tactics at the start of all battles. So if I have a particular unit that gives me tactics, those are going to take them all away. So I got to maybe take those out first. Okay. Now, the problem is neither of those are 14A, which is the one that's up in our business. 14A is just an advanced unit that, you know, maybe we can take out on our own. But here's the deal. I still have 2 more bad ones to point you at. Here's the first one of those 2. Lose 2 SO points whenever you gain the SO points step. So now if I leave 14A in the friendly transit where he is, and this one stays alive, I'm losing 4 of my 8 SO points. That's not good. And here's another bad one. At the end of the move battalion steps, advance any one non-fixed battalion. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that that one isn't as bad as you might think. And the reason is I can take one of those ones that are in the rear and move them forward, as long as they're not fixed. And speaking of which, there is a fixed battalion. The game rules say that fixed battalions have pictures of buildings on them. This one right here is 8S, okay? He is fixed. See the keyword fixed? And that is not a building. That is a truck. So this is improper artwork, or that fixed keyword isn't supposed to be there. That's a DVG error. One of the two is wrong. So I don't know which one it is. I don't think it matters. I mean, right now I'm treating it like it's fixed because that's what the card says. But this is suggesting that it's a battalion that moves. And if you look at it, it's 4 rifles, 4 trucks, 2 AT. Those are battalions that move. So there's no reason to suggest that that should be a fixed battalion. Just none at all. And I'm still dealing with issues of my camera disconnecting. So I'm getting a little annoyed about that. So I'm going to pause this video real quick. Okay, I don't have any solution for the disconnecting, but the computer at least lets me know when it's disconnecting, so I can always just reconnect it while we're going. This 8S, we're definitely not going to target him because I can use this to take these units that are in the rear and move them closer to us, which will help us because then we don't have to pay SO points to attack. Also, during setup, I didn't mention this, but if you have the 2 expansion packs that give you tiles, you have a whole bunch of tiles. And the tiles you're supposed to use have this green arrow because we chose a campaign that is European. If you don't choose a European one, there could be desert tiles like that, and that would have it's a very light brown. And then of course there's winter tiles you could see right underneath, and they have like a gray. And there's actually a 4th tile which is not used in Tiger Leader. It's used in Sherman Leader though. It's a jungle tile, and I can't remember what color jungle tile is. I think it's white. But there's jungle tiles that you'll see that I should be able to pull one up here. Here's one. And you can see the little white arrow. And the arrow is always going to be right there. Okay. So let's get rolling here. The weekly special condition. Subtract 1 stress from all of your infantry commanders. This would be a great card, except we're starting out the game and we have no stress at all. So this was just bad timing. But the good news is it's not a card that is going to hurt us. So I'll go ahead and discard that. And like I said, now we have to assign our units. And that was the whole reason for doing what I just went through. And what do we do about these particular units here? And I think the one that makes us lose 2 SO points is the biggest issue. And I think that this guy that's up in our business that's going to make us lose 2 SO points is the biggest issue. So that means I'm going to have to live with these 2 guys. So now the question becomes is, can I take these on? Can I take on 3 battalions with my current army? I don't know that answer. It's been a long time since I've played, so I don't have that intuition of, oh yeah, I can think I can take on 3. If you look at 7C there, the forward base, it has 4 rifle, 2 half tracks, 2 buildings, 2 tanks, and 2 AT. I think that's a pretty full army. And so I would be concerned that I would, if I'm cutting my army in half to, like if I look at 17A there, I think 17A might be doable. It's got 4 tanks, but as long as I send in maybe 1 or 2 anti-tanks after them, I could probably annihilate them. It all depends, right? So I'm for sure going to go after 7C. And then I told you about 14A. 14A is the one that's in our business. So if I destroyed both of those, I would at least save our SO points. Now, our guys who get tactics, like I said, we're going to lose 2 tactics at the start of every mission. And there goes my camera again. Man, oh man. All right, it's working. So I don't know what to think about. Yeah, I would love to go for a 3rd battalion, but I just really don't have the like. Let's feel out our troops and see how well these battles go. If I end up creaming these guys because I have way too many troops assigned to the battle, then on week 2 we can maybe get a little bit more aggressive. How about that? Um, and this is where, if you're a veteran of the game and you've played it a while, this intuition is going to be more natural for you. And I think those of you who are new to this and watching this video and trying to understand this game, you're going to go through the same thing. Oh gosh darn it, I actually have 10 commanders. That means I have 10 units. So is 10 units enough to go after, these 2 battalions? I mean, 7C here has 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 units. And remember, of my 10 units, I'm breaking them up into 5 and 5. So I'm only going to have 5 units going up against 12. I already think that I have my work cut out for me, going after just 2 battalions. So that's what I'm going to try. We're going to go after 2. If that becomes a smooth and breezy thing, then we'll maybe go after 3 next time. And remember, we get 8 SO points a week. 8 SO points is enough to buy an infantry unit, for example. Actually, it's enough to buy 2 infantry units. So we could grow our army every week. That is the beauty of this game versus like a Thunderbolt Apache leader, where you don't get to do that. But also remember, I wanted to upgrade my 2 transports so they could be a little bit more powerful as well. We have a lot of things we want to do. There's never enough SO points in this game. Okay, so let's do this. And I think maybe we should go after 14A first. Now, 14A doesn't require us to go deep into enemy lines. 7C, as you can see, is in the front. I also don't need to, because we spent 4 SO points for these trucks. So 4 SO points for these 2 trucks. And these trucks are, they save you 2 SO points when you go deep into enemy lines. Neither of these battalions are making us go deep into enemy lines. So if you really, really wanted to, you could choose not to buy them right now. And then that saves you 4 SO points to use for something else. At the moment, I'm sitting with 3 SO points even after buying these. So I'm going to buy them anyways because they're going to be used before this game's over, and they will earn their money back. So no worries there. We're just not using them today or this week. Okay, so we said we're going to go after 14A first. So let me set 14A off to the side here and get this out of the way for now. I'm going to put this here to show that we're going to do that one next. Okay, so we just follow. We did start of the week. I know that took us 12 minutes. I promise you, it doesn't take that long in your game. Pre-combat. First thing we do is an event card. Okay, so that's this card, and then at the end of the thing, we're going to do another event card post-combat. But we're going to do the event card, and when you get the event card, you pre-combat you always do the top. Post-combat you do the bottom. So infantry commanders suffer 1 extra stress when moving and attacking, including aggressive commanders. So, it sucks. All right, so it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely not fun either. So we'll put that one here. And okay, so what's next? It says place the turn counter. So the battle turns for the game is 5. And if I move this out of the way here, oh, there goes the camera again. Jiminy Christmas, this has never happened before. All right, okay. So your battle turn track is here, and there's the number 5 is highlighted it's like extra white. And so what's interesting is the playthrough videos that are out there and the rule book. Because I actually went and checked the rule book. They have you start at 1, and then you're supposed to progressively go up, and then when you get to 5, you quit. And I find that to be the most silliest thing ever. You're supposed to count down. And I don't care what the rule book says. That's what you do. You count down because when you're down to 1, you know you have 1 turn left. And because I'm using scouts, I bought 2 of them, so we're going to have a scout. I'm allowed to have 6 battle turns instead of 5. So I'm going to put the turn on 6. And so yes, we're going to count down. And speaking of those videos that exist for this game, and I don't mean to knock the people who try to make videos for these games. They clearly have the production value better than me, although they don't have a green screen, so neener. First of all, Player's Aid. I get why you guys like Player's Aid, but they just do. I'm to the point where I almost am ready to challenge Player's Aid. Have you even bothered to play the game? I don't think that they played the game when they made the review video for this game. I truly, truly don't think that they played the game. And it's funny because DBG just like laps the boot of them. Because if they do a Kickstarter video, people love it. And I don't mean to knock them because I have watched their actual playthrough of like coin games, and I genuinely believe that they play coin games because I think they have a passion for it and they love it. And they really do seem like nice guys I would like to game with someday. So I totally understand everybody's interest in those guys. Stuka Joe, another awesome stand-up guy. But the Player's Aid video for this game was crap. And I'm sorry. That, they may do great things and they may do great things for other games, but for this one, it was crap. Now, there was another guy, and I'm not going to name them all. I'm picking on Player's Aid because they should do better considering how many subscribers they have. The rest of us, I will call out, I think it's Gimpy Gamer or something like that. That dude tries. I mean, he's like, I feel like he's a lot like me. I mean, he's just out there having fun. And I totally recommend his videos, even if I don't think he covered these games quite as well as, maybe he should have. And then there's this one guy, he's literally doing a video where we're attacking 2 battalions at the same time. That's never possible. You pick this battalion, you attack it. You pick that battalion, you attack it. There's a video out there where somebody's truly taking 2 battalions and adding all the units together and fighting both of them at once. That is garbage. That's not even close to how this is played. And this is coming from me, and I get rules wrong all the time. So I don't know what that guy was doing. Maybe he was just trying to show how a battle would work and really wasn't trying to play the game. But that's, I guess, my gripe with these playthrough videos is that these people aren't really playing the game. They're trying to create an instructional video, and in doing so, it's quite awful. And then they keep reading to you like values, and put the damn thing on the screen. Let us see what the values are. Show us where to find that value. Show us what it is that you're looking at, sir, so that way I can understand what it is that I'm supposed to do. But anyways, that's my little gripe there. On to the playthrough. So we got this this guy up. So as noted, we have 6 turns to resolve this battle. Okay, and we placed our turn counter. 6 turns to go. I'm sorry, I ranted after just placing a turn counter. My apologies. Next is we place the terrain tiles. And I want to once again point out that the camera just went out again. That is so annoying. All right. So I want to point out, I have all these tiles. See that? The game comes with like 8. And actually, this is one of the ones that comes with the base game. You can tell because it's extra glossy. See how it has like glossiness whenever I get the light to shine on it? These other ones, like this one, is one of the bonus tiles from the expansion pack. Yeah, there's some gloss right there, but it's nowhere near the same. Again, this one is base game, extra glossy. Okay, now how else do you know it's a base game? versus expansion. Not that it matters that much, but take a look at the green arrows. So the bottom one has a very thick green arrow. The top one has a very thick green arrow. Look at the one in the middle. You could see the green arrow right here, but it's much tinier. That's how you know which ones are the expansion. So I have them just all mixed up. So I think there's, okay, so what do the rules say? You're supposed to just randomly pick these. How do you randomly pick something? These aren't easy to shuffle. I mean, I could just throw them on the floor, you know, Tom Bassel style, and just pick them up off the floor one at a time, and that's the ones we use. I just don't want to do that. It's going to be time consuming. So we could literally, because there's so many of them, I mean, there's at least almost 3 dozen of these. Since there's so many of them, we could just say, okay, let's start at the top, and we'll just take each one at a time, and that's the randomness of it, right? We could do that, or I could roll dice, and then starting at the top one, I'm just going to count so many deep and grab one. Eventually, I'm going to get all of them, right? You know, and then as we use them, they just end up on the bottom of the stack, so it'll be a while before we get to those again. I don't know what the right answer is. Somebody has suggestions on an easy way to randomly pick these, I would appreciate it. I mean, another thing I was contemplating is like, okay, if I put them on their side, maybe I can pick them this way. It's really hard to shuffle and draw these. I mean, I can two fist them, you know, like this, and maybe we can come up with some system there. Ugh. But anyways, we need to draw enough to make a difference here. And actually, you know what? That's actually a good idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm cutting the pile in half like this. So I'm basically cutting the deck, right? And then we'll just draw from each. So we're going to go 2, right? 4, 6, 8. And then we'll put these back together and use them another day. And then whenever we're done, they'll go on the bottom, and then we'll just cut the deck again, and that's how we'll do it. So that way we'll eventually see all the tiles, and it won't be purely random, but it'll be random enough. How about that? Does that sound fair? Okay, so let's get these out. And some of these tiles, because they're European, they're going to be green, so they're going to show up on my green screen awful. So I'm going to do a lot of this. And of course, I'm worried about the glare now, but this is a river tile. So it's an expansion pack one, and you have to spend a movement point to enter the hex, and then spend another move to move to the other side of the hex. So when you draw them, they go from top here down. So it's way up in the back. We actually don't, we're not going to end up using it very much. And this one looks like a desert, doesn't it? But it's really like, think of it as plains. And here's the other thing. This has like the R. See how it has RI written? Oh, there goes the camera again. Jerks. I think I need to reboot my computer. And I totally apologize. The camera keeps going out. I'm trying to finish this video before I do that. Okay, so see how it says RI? That's a new keyword for river, of course. And this is just a river tile. This particular one here doesn't say what it is. It's just a place where it puts the text. But this here doesn't say anything on it. And so what you're supposed to know in the base game is this is a basic clear tile, and this is a light cover hex. So any tree you see in the basic tile, that's the reason why I was pointing out the green arrow, because you're going to have to recognize the base game tiles versus the expansion. The base game tiles don't have any letters on them. So you got to know that this is all regular terrain, and that's a light cover hex, okay? So one of the hexes on there is light cover. Here is one of the expansion ones, and even though you see trees, that's all clear. There is no light cover on this one. It's all 100% clear. So it's very annoying in that way. It's just there for artistic purposes. And then here's a base game one, and those little lines are meant to be like farm fields, and that's of course the barn for the farmer's house, I guess, and that's considered heavy cover. And then here is a road tile, RO, and they're one free road to road move each turn, so you can move along the road really quick, which is good that that's on our end. And then again, we have another one of these. So I want to find, and by the way, drawing 8 was wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. We only draw 6. So I'm going to look here for expansion one that has the heavy. Okay, first of all, there's this one. See right here? There's this like little L in a box. You see that? That means that this is a light cover hex. So they only listed in one of the hex locations. And so all 4 of these locations are light cover. And so the question would be, is there one of those L's on this one? And I'm looking really closely, and there isn't. So that's the thing that's really annoying about it. But that particular one has light cover. And here's another one that has light cover. And actually, they indicate it. See, look. Light cover on the 2 ends, here and here. But these ones are not light cover. You see that? So don't let these little trees fool you into thinking that that's light cover. That's just graphics of an open terrain. There's no cover there. This is actually a perfect one because it shows that DBG actually marks every single tile. So that last one I showed you was actually light cover on just one of the 4 spots and not all 4. So it gets a little annoying. Here's another one. Light cover on the middle 2, but not on the outer 2. Okay? So you have to make sure your mind can adjust. Here's one. Light cover is only on one of the 4. You see that? All right. So I think I've made my point. This one is a bogging one. It's like swamp marshland. We'll get into those whenever we hit those. And there should be heavy cover too, somewhere. I'm looking. Looks like the expansion doesn't give you heavy cover. The only heavy cover that you can find here is this building. This building provides heavy cover. And like I said, the trees are light cover. Okay. So next step, we place the terrain tiles. Now we place the friendly units. So I was supposed to assign who's going to go to what. And if you remember, we're going to divide up our troops to 5 and 5. Now, this particular one has... there goes the camera again. Okay, this particular one has 4 tanks and 4 rifle. And I'm pretty sure that for this video, when the camera goes out, you guys are just seeing like a still image that just doesn't change. So 4 tanks and 2 armored cars. So those are armored units. So I have 6 armored units, 4 soft units, right? Or high explosive, I guess they call it. For the other one we're planning on doing, it has 2 tanks and 2 armored cars, which is 4. Or no, I'm sorry. The other one we're planning on doing is here. And it has half track, 2 of them, and 2 tanks. So it has a lot more soft units. So we could argue that I need to have more anti-tank presence on this one. And so what I was supposed to tell you is that for this particular battle, we're going to send the 88 instead of our artillery to this one, right? Because I have, if you recall from the other video, or if you just skip to this video, my lineup is I have 2 Panthers. So 1 Panther is coming, and that's this one. So I'm going to just put it right here. We got 1 Panther assigned, and it's led by Beck, who's a veteran and has close combat and overdrive. So, and we'll talk about those if you missed that video, what that all means. So I'm going to just go ahead and set that guy aside. And then with him is going to be an 88. because I have 2 artillery guys. One of them is a straight up artillery unit, and the other one is an 88. And I'm going to take the 88 because I need the extra anti-tank presence from that. So, and I said, I have 2 Panthers, so the other Panther is going to go on the other mission, and the artillery will go in the other mission. I have 2 MG nests. One MG nest is coming with us for this mission, and one MG nest will be on the other mission. I have 1 rifleman unit. Since the other one has more soft targets, I'm going to put the rifleman unit on the other mission. Okay, so that puts 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other mission. For this one, I am taking I have a Panzer II. Yes, a crappy Panzer II. But if you missed the video, I chose it because there's a particular commander I just want to give experience points to until I can afford a better tank and then get to a 3rd tank. And then I have 2 transport units. And remember, those were going to eventually get promoted. One of them is going to be promoted to an anti-tank. The other one's going to get promoted to a recon. Neither of them are promoted yet. So one is just they're both just transport. So it doesn't matter which one goes where. So I will just divide 1 to each. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units going on this mission. And they are here. And I don't think there's much need to show these to you, but basically I got an MG nest. This is the 88. This is the Panzer II. This is the Panther, and that's a transport truck. Okay. We'll talk about their stats and stuff as the battle begins, or maybe as we get deeper into this. But one of the advantages of having the Sherman leader out is it gives me the information for how do you start, and what kind of bonus movement do you get and stuff like that. So we place the friendly units, and then we get unit advancement. So unit advancement is just I know I saw it written down here somewhere. Basically, the rifleman unit gets to advance twice. The other one gets to advance once, and I'm just trying to find where that was written down, because I know it was. That's why I was so excited about getting out the Sherman leader stuff. Dang it. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Oh, there goes the camera again. Jerk. I'm being stubborn because I know it's written down here. I just need to find it. Okay, well, let's get back to the regularly scheduled program. So my 88, for example, I'm going to put it on the road. Or maybe I could put it here, just off the road. I have our little Panzer II, right? I'm going to put him on the road. I have our transport truck that I'm going to put with the 88. I have an MG nest, which I will put on the road. And I have a Panther that I'm also going to put on the road. All right. And because I've been stubborn, I know this is written down somewhere because I was so excited I didn't have to use the rule book. But I'm going to have to look up like who gets to do the advance right now because I don't want to screw that rule up. But basically, at the start of the mission, certain units get to you place all your units in the bottom row, and then certain ones get to advance, and then the rifleman unit gets to advance again. So you could theoretically be 3 layers out or 3 tiles out, but that's. And as I said, I know it's written down somewhere, and I'm annoyed that I have to look it up, but we'll look it up. And for Tiger Leader, I mean, like I said, get out the Sherman Leader rulebook because it's written in there. But right here, when you're doing friendly unit placement, you may place machine gun teams and anti-tank teams in either of the two bottom rows, which is the equivalent of advancing once. Okay, and then rifle teams can be in the bottom three, which is the equivalent of advancing twice. All right, so so the anti-tank team, I'm going to advance once, and then the machine gun team, I'm going to advance once. Now this is a little bit annoying because the machine gun team, well, they can shoot into the building, but the building is like blocking line of sight. But the machine gun team can only shoot one space. I'm going to put my transport truck on the road along with everything else. And there's nothing stopping you from putting all your units in the same hex. There is no limit to how many units can be in a hex, okay? And just a reminder, I use the scout to extend the turns by 1. But that's all you do. That's the friendly placement step. And like I said, if we had a infantry unit, we get to advance it twice and could probably put it in the building, which would be a perfect place for it with this particular map, okay? All right, then we place enemy units. And I know it's really hard to see, but right here is a chart for you to use. Very helpful. What we're going to do is we're going to roll a 10-sided die and place the enemy units randomly in these first 2 rows. Okay. Now, one thing I want to point out is it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So if I roll 1, 2, 3, or 4, he's going to be in the back row. And then a 5 is here, and a 10 is here. But this is 6, 7, and 8, 9. So they're going to have a huge concentration of units here and here. Because probability-wise, this has the highest probability is for them to be in these 2 center spots. Okay? That doesn't mean that's where they're going to be, but that's the highest probability. Now, the way you manage this is... Oh, gosh darn it. What did I do with the... We're doing 14A. Oh, here it is. So we got to get 4 tanks, 4 rifle, and 2 armored cars. And there goes the camera again. So we have this situation where you need to get out all your American units, okay? Because we're only going against America because it's U.S., Italy, 1943. So we're getting 4 tanks, 2 armored car, and 4 rifle. And here, for example, is what a tank looks like. 2, 3. All right, I got the 4 tanks. Here's what a rifle looks like. And what's the other one I need? Armored car. So I got 2 rifles so far. Oh, here's an armored car. And just bear with me, I'm still going through. Oh, I got a second armored car. And I still need 2 more rifle. Oh, there's rifle 3 and here's rifle 4. Okay, I got it all. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to be rolling to place these. But let me just give you a quick overview of what these look like and what do they mean. So let's look at the rifle unit here on the top right. So that little 1 is how many points it's worth. So it's worth 1 point to destroy it. And every battalion is going to have a point value. The overall point value isn't super important. What's important is if I can reduce it to 10 points or less, I will reduce the battalion to half strength. And if I can reduce it to 4 points or less, I will destroy the battalion. So destroying the battalion does not mean you have to destroy every single unit. You just have to reduce it enough where it's no longer a viable unit. Okay? So that rifle has 1 point, and then the tank is 3. So if I'm trying to get this down to 10-4, good buddy, then I need to kill the tanks, as you can see. And then the armored car is in the middle with 2. So the rifleman units aren't as important to kill. You can leave a lot of those alive on the field and still reduce the battalion to the point where it's no longer effective. Okay? That's the first and foremost thing. The American flag is just helping you to sort out the units. An American tank is going to have different values than like a Polish tank, for example. Okay, so what does this mean? The black number 2 that you see on the tank here and the black number 8 on the rifleman. I know some of the notations are in different locations, right? You see an 8 with a 0 to the next of it, and the 0 has like a black background, like a black circle background. And then the 2 has a 3 with a black circle background below it. It means the same thing. It's just for whatever reason it's below on one and to the side on the other. Don't. It's a DVG thing. Don't get bent out of shape over it. The black number is armor piercing. So the tank, when you roll a 10-sided die, it needs to roll a 2 or better to hit you with the armor piercing. That's a pretty low number. I'm sorry. That Yes, that's what it needs to hit you. So their tanks are pretty good. The 3 is for high explosive. That's against infantry. So if he rolls a 3 or better, he'll hit you. And then the 3 that's the red 3 I'm talking about here. The black 3 with the circle in it, that's for both of these, means the tank can shoot 3 hexes away. It has a range of 3. Okay, the rifleman, you can see, has a range of 0 for armor piercing. And then the high explosives has a range of 1. So their infantry can only shoot 1 space away. All right, camera went dead again. Loading it back up. Okay. Now, what does this black 3, red 3 mean? It's the same notations. Red is always for infantry, or the high explosive, they call it. So the black 3 just means that the tank is a armor unit, and so you need to hit it with your armor piercing value. The red 3 over here means that it's a infantry unit, and you need to hit it with your high explosive. So that's all that's really getting at, and that number is the defense value. So they have a defense value of 3, which is actually quite good. Our Panthers have a defense value of 3, just to put it in perspective, but nothing else we have has a defense value of 3. So their defense roll is very, very high. And then you can see the armored car there has an AP attack of 7 and only at a range of 2, and then a high explosive or infantry soft attack. I call it hard and soft. Soft attack of 5 with a range of 2. And actually, the armored car, that range value is in the middle, so that means that both of them have a range of 2. I see. So when the numbers in between them vertically, they both share the same range, is what that's trying to say. Whereas with the infantry, they have 2 different range values, so therefore they're represented horizontally. This 3 at the bottom is the defense value. That's not the range. And this 2 at the bottom is the defense value, not the range. It's very misleading because, and if you'll notice that the defense value is actually inside of a square, whereas the other one's inside of a circle. I know it can be confusing, but hopefully that helps you out with understanding. This is what we're up against. So the tanks are extremely formidable. I mean, that 2 is super easy to hit us with. Now, just a reminder, they suffer range attack damage. There's all kinds of stuff that they suffer, but and then the other thing to understand is that when we place the enemy units on this step, they advance by 1 automatically. Okay, so we're gonna do that now, and we're gonna roll for where are all these guys starting out. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll 4 dice here for the tanks. And it doesn't matter which one's which. And so a tank is going to go into 1, 4. Oh, that's not a tank. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I keep grabbing the wrong unit. Now, what's interesting is which side of the river hex do these start on? The rules I don't think, explain that. So I'm going to assume that they're on our side of the river hex. Okay, I'm not going to advance anything yet until we get everything placed. So let's do the 4 riflemen now. And so I have an 8 and an 8. So both of them go here. And then I have a 4 and a 5. And again, I'm going to assume they're on our side of the hex. And then I have 2 advanced cars, or armored cars, I mean. And one's a 4 and one's a 6. Now, it is possible for enemies to retreat. And if they were to move that way, they could and go off the edge of the map. They retreat. And it's the same for us as well. We can retreat. All right, so everything's advancing. Now, advancing for them is, I believe they all have a range or a movement value of 1. And advance, there's different kinds of advance, but, oh, there goes the map camera again. All right, testing, okay. So the advance action is listed here on the Sherman leader, okay? If you don't have the Sherman leader, you're going to have to look at the extra thing that comes with the upgrade kit. And there is different types of advances. There's cautious, there's soft advance, there's hard advance, you know, because they're hunting tanks. There's advance if they cannot attack, regular advance. All right, so it's all written in here, and the regular advance is going to be on the top left corner of the rule book. But I'm going to just read it from Sherman Leader because Sherman Leader has it all nice and tidy. Basically, they're advancing to the closest friendly unit. Now, friendly unit, believe it or not, I actually got a mental loop on this. Friendly unit means us. Anything that's friendly to me. When I read that, I was like, well, okay, they're going to move towards a friendly unit, meaning they're going to move to a unit that's friendly to them. So, you know, our enemy is their friend, right? That's not how you read it. And maybe I'm the only human being on the planet that got confused by that. But they're moving towards us. Closest friendly unit. We are always referred to as the friendly unit. Friendly unit means us. So closest friendly unit. And if they have a choice, it's going to be heaviest cover. So, you know, starting at the front here, the rifle is going to move 1 because this is the closest unit. And then the tank and armored car, again, are moving 1, like so. And then all 3 of these, we actually have a choice. They can move here or here. And DVG lets us choose. So if we wanted to, we can just jam them all in one spot. I don't know if there's value or no value in that, but I'm going to move them this way. And then same deal. Now, this is a light cover. So all 3 of these are for sure moving into light cover because that's the ideal spot. And then this one moves to this side of the river, and it would require another movement to get to the other side of the river. And I'm going to make the enemy punish with the river just as much as we do. The rules, again, I don't think specify or spell out how rivers are handled. I'm going to look real quick. When you draw the first river tile for the battle, immediately sort through the remaining tiles to find the other river tile. Place it on the tactical display to connect the rivers on each tile. Oh, I'm supposed to do that, apparently. Remove a previously placed tile if need be. If a friendly unit begins the battle on a river hex, place it on the near side towards the bottom. If an enemy unit begins the battle, place it on the far side towards the top. Okay, it does explain all that. So, however, I already made a mistake. I need to read the rules a little bit better. So give me a second while I try to find the other river tile, because a river runs through it. Here we go. I found it. All right, so what it's saying is that the river tile needs to move here. And here, like that. So these 3 units, for example, started here, and they would have advanced to there. And so they're on the other side of the river right now. Okay. This unit started back here, so he would have advanced to there. These 3 units started on this side of the river, and all they would have done was move to this side of the river. Camera just went out again. It's my USB cable that's connected to the camera. I'm pretty convinced of it. All right, and then this was after they had moved. So what would have happened is this rifle unit would be here, and these 2 would have moved to that side of the river there. So that's the situation, okay? So what the rules say is if you draw a river tile, you have to find the other one, and the river tile has to be in a place where it goes all the way across the map. And basically, per the rules, the enemy starts on that side of the river, and we start on this side of the river if we start on a particular river spot. And they did all advance. And what I had done is, like, for example, this one had advanced to here, but per the rules, they have to advance across the river. So that's a whole movement point. So basically, they're not as close to us as they originally were. And these tanks would have to cross the river to get to us, you know, stuff like that. All right, is that making sense? Okay, so that's placing the enemy units, and the reason they advanced, I just want to remind you, is because of this card. Not because of anything else. It's because of that card. Now, it says on enemy, after placing enemy machine gun teams and anti-tank teams, they each get an advance order, and after placing enemy rifle teams, they get 2 advance orders. So we're going to have to do that now, and that's part of the regular rules. Okay. So when you do enemy unit placement, they get to advance as well. And that's in addition to the advance that we just did because of the battalion card caused an advance, right? After placing enemy units that advance enemy units by 1. So we're advancing for 2 different reasons. So now enemy rifle teams have to advance twice. Machine gun and anti-tank teams advance once. Well, there's no anti-tank, and the rifle units are going to advance once. So this one will go here. This one will cross the river, and these 2 will go like so. Now, they advance twice, it says. So this one will cross the river. These 2 will go into heavy cover, and this one will go there. So they were already able to position themselves into heavy cover just from the start of the game. Is this making sense? I hope I didn't confuse you. After you place them in these top 2 rows, all anti-tank units get to advance once, and then all rifle units get to advance twice. And so we did that. And then the per the battalion card, the every unit got to advance 1 more time. So the rifle units actually got to advance 3 times, which is what's allowing them to be in these locations. They're basically on the verge of hitting us. All right, does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to end this video here, and we're going to start combat in the next video. And I know all of that was just for pre-combat, but there's a lot to go through. And I also want to try to maybe fix this camera issue because it's really annoying. So thank you for watching. Stay awesome. I apologize if this seems a little slow to you, but I'm trying to be thorough and cover a lot of things, and it goes faster. I assure you it does. Once you get a hang of the rules, most of this stuff is just second nature. So anyways, thanks for joining me at the table. We'll see you soon.